Welcome to Subramani. I'm going to talk to you about some of the mistakes which investors make and some personal feedback also. People come to me and they're very apologetic that they don't invest in equities. Honestly, to me it doesn't matter where you invest, because you don't owe me an explanation as to why you invest in equities or don't invest in equities. Second, I think it is a way for them to provoke me to justify investing in equities. One, I don't need to invest in equities. I don't need you to invest in equities. It doesn't really matter for me where you invest. And I don't need to justify. So then they come and say, but can you say at least I'll get 12% return? I don't want to say you will get 12%. Maybe you will get 1.2. Maybe you will get 120. It is up to you. How much you want to get, how much you get, how well you can manage your equity. It depends on your IQ, it depends on your EQ, it depends on the market, it depends on so many other factors. I'm not going to stand here in a lobby of a hotel telling you how to invest in equities, because to me it's been a very long journey and it can't be just told to you in 1 minute or 2 minutes, right? So if you don't want to invest in equities, to me it doesn't matter. For very many people, they want to hear that equity is just PPF on steroids. In PPF you get 7%, here you will get 12%. I am not willing to say that, because it depends a lot on your own attitude, on when you buy, what you buy, how long you hold. And I'm not in the business of asking you for your money to manage it for you. That's not my business. A lot of people do it. I know friends who do a very good job, much better than the index, much better than some of the mutual funds. But that is your call, whether you want to invest through them, don't want to invest through them, right? Second, another mistake I see people making is not investing to a plan. It is just that they met me and say, what do you think of the Adani group? Now what is to be done? And I say, look, I bought, I sold or something like that, and say, do you think I'll make money if I buy? I have no clue, right? So, and I don't even know why you're buying. Are you buying the share at 300 rupees to sell it at 320, or are you buying the share at 300 rupees to sell it at 30,000 after a few years? I have no clue. So I don't know what you're doing, why you're doing. So very difficult for me to tell you what you should do. You have to have your plan and you should work to that plan. It is not what I tell you, or it does not even matter as to what I do with my money, right? So I have a completely different risk appetite. I have different access to market knowledge, etc. So I am going to be very different than what you are going to do. So if you do not understand what you're doing, there is very little chance that the person who is advising you will be able to do a good job of advising you. Second, investing completely without research. So there was this person who thought that Paytm is a good buy at 500 because it will go back to 3000 in a year, or 2700, or so 5-6 times in 1 year. So I said, assuming even it moves up as much as the index, it means the index will have to move from 60,000, Sensex will have to move from 60,000 to 3,60,000 for your share to go back from 500 to 3,000, whatever it is your target price. So without any basis, people want to make some investments and hoping that, when you realize that there is anchoring bias, saying the price will go back here, or wanting to buy Adani because it has fallen. I'm not even getting into whether Adani shares are worth buying or not worth buying, but buying because it has fallen makes no sense to me, right? So you decide, you do your own research, and there is nothing called Adani group, right? You can't buy the Adani group. There is no ETF available saying Adani group ETF. Within the Adani group, you have to decide what you want to buy. There is Gujarat Ambuja Cement, there is ACC, there is Adani Ports, there is Adani Enterprise, everything. You have to decide what you want to buy. Like I said, the mistake number 1 or mistake number 2, when you are investing without a plan, you can buy any Adani share. Doesn't really matter, because you are buying because it's fallen. If you think it's fallen, therefore it's worth buying, buy. If you think it's going to go up, buy. But don't ask me for a justification as to what to do in the Adani group. I have no clue, and I have no clue about what I'm going to share in public, right? So I may or may not have bought, I may or may not have traded, right? I've done all kinds of things even with the Adani group. So I'm not getting into what you should do, right? So that's again difficult. Then many people, obviously, I don't know why it happens. When I say idli in this shop is good, people will go and eat idli without checking out with me what is the price. Which is perfectly all right, because if you're spending 200 bucks or 400 bucks in one place, you don't really need to do too much research. And that is not true in case of equity. You have to find somebody who will tell you what to buy, etc. So it has to be a PMS, or it has to be a mutual fund. It has to be somebody who leads you to that particular mutual fund or those particular shares. That person is going to charge you a lead fees, right? He's not going to give you data free. He's not going to talk to you like, it's okay, I think I bought it, so you should also buy it. That kind of gyan is not available. Also, many people don't understand the role of brokers while you're investing. A broker like HDFC, or brokers like HDFC or ICICI or any of those brokers are pure execution brokers. There's a difference between going to an execution broker and going to a broker who will sit and discuss with you what to buy and what to sell. And believe me, this is again, SEBI has a lot of issues on whether a broker should be giving advice. So I'm not even getting into what kind of a broker you should choose. But if you think that you can just read somewhere, watch something on YouTube, and you can make money by going to an execution only broker, do it. I don't go to an execution only broker. I go to a broker with whom I can discuss and then buy. Right? So to me, I see value. If you don't see value, then you should go to an execution only broker and save money on the brokerage, because these guys would definitely, Zerodha would definitely be cheaper than HDFC Securities. HDFC Securities would be cheaper than a broker who sits and talks with you and then executes. Fairly obvious, he's got to make money doing that, right? So based on all this, don't misunderstand the fees that is being charged. Nobody is going to do it free for you. If you think there is anything free, you're wrong. Even this video you're watching, Google is trying to make some money and sharing it with me, right? So it is not to think that there is anything free. So of course, I'm very happy that you're giving me your time, but understand that the Google ads is the payment that you're making for watching this. Similarly, another thing which I see is chasing trends. If you find that some particular industry is making money, getting into it, maybe you're getting into it late, and maybe you are getting out of it early. Getting out of it early is still lesser crime than getting into it late and then staying there waiting for the next cycle, right? So people who have bought pharma shares, who missed last 4-5 years, let's say pharma didn't do anything. Let's say from 2021, 22, pharma did nothing, and you were sitting there. Maybe it's a great time to be sitting there now, but you missed 2 years of inaction, which is perfectly all right if you're building a portfolio. But when you chase trends and say, oh, pharma is not doing well, let me get into IT. They say, oh, IT is not doing well, let me get into banking. So if you keep jumping, you will never make money. So you have to create your portfolio rather than chase trends. Will people stop chasing trends? I don't think so. But then I can at least say that you should stop chasing trends. Another bad thing about new investors is leverage, which means you're borrowing to buy and sell shares. I'll do a separate video on this and what Warren Buffett says about borrowing to invest makes no sense at all. And so whether you are taking an F&O, whether you're buying a call option, or whether you're buying something in the futures market, or whether you are borrowing money from the bank, loan against shares and things like that, they're very good for the lender. They don't work for you unless you're very disciplined borrower. You know how you're borrowing, you know why you're borrowing, you know how you will repay, you know when you will cut position very quickly. So it's not something which I would ever suggest. But then people, even fresh comers, are happy because the minute you go to execute the order in executor, just put in one order, the bank offers you, oh, don't buy 150 shares, you can buy 600 rupees, we will give you the money, right? So 4x or 3x is the kind of money that they are offering it to you just at the time of clicking. It's amazing how they can deliver it exactly when you are tempted towards it, and chances are you will fall for it. So be careful, don't borrow to invest. If you are a newcomer, and investing your own money is risky, investing leverage money is extremely risky. So don't do that. Don't watch the market 24/7. When I say 24/7, I mean 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Like, no, oh my God, something is going to happen now. Things don't happen at all. Things don't happen for very long periods of time. That is why test match became one day became 2020. It's a matter of time when it will become 5-5 or something like that. People just don't have the patience to sit through long processes. But equity investing is an extremely long, dull, boring process. You have to sit through a long period of time if you are serious about wanting to make money there, right? So don't watch it 24/7 and itch for action, saying, oh, nothing is happening. I bought on Monday, today is already Friday, it has not gone up. Markets don't do that. Markets can stay steady, do nothing for 5 years, and then 1 year give you some 100% return, which is just about 20% simple interest over the last 5 years. But it can happen. These kind of things do happen, so be ready for it. So you have to have a full-time job or something other than markets if you have to really make money from markets. It's not so simple as it looks, right? Then collecting dubious advice from the social media. I don't even know why it's called social media, but it is more likely to hurt you when you hear that, oh, so and so bought or so and so sold. That's not advice, that is just nonsense happening there, right? If you think you can watch some videos or YouTube tips or any blog and create your own portfolio, you're mistaken. People are not here to build your portfolio. You can't build it watching. Another thing I notice is you can be a new investor with an old portfolio. Somebody's father died or somebody's mother died, and therefore they inherited a portfolio of which they know nothing, except that their father told them 20 years ago, you should never sell this particular share. So that share they will never sell because it is their father's wish. But the father knew why he was buying. The father may have changed his mind today based on today's facts. If you don't know that, no reason for you to stick on with your old portfolio. You might as well sell it and put it in the mutual fund. If you don't know why a share is there, you will never know why that share should be sold. This is again coming to the earlier point, saying people invest without a plan. When people inherit, they have no clue what they have inherited and it is lying there. So I can look at a portfolio and somebody says, oh, my father died in 2019 or 2020. I know this portfolio has not been attended to for 2 years. And then I ask them, when did your father stop attending to this portfolio? Oh, he stopped in 2005, 2006 or something like 2012. Anything could be the answer. And which could be seen, the neglect could be seen because the father at that stage had lost the ability to look after the portfolio. It could sometimes be the mother who is the same, the man or woman doesn't really matter. But if the person who created the portfolio is not there and the children are not interested in doing it, or the wife is not interested in doing it, then the solution is to sell and go and put it in a mutual fund. Don't be in direct equities without understanding why you are in direct equities and what you're doing there, right? This company loyalty could also take in the form of ESOPs, right? I've got shares of HDFC Limited, which I got, or HDFC Bank, or Infosys, saying, oh, this I got in 2008 because of my long stay and etc. etc. But today is 2022, things have changed. Move on, right? Mr. Deepak Parekh has sold off HDFC Limited to HDFC Bank and moved on, right? You also have to move on. You decide whether a share or portfolio is good or bad on a day-to-day basis, not because what your father told you 14 years ago or what you thought 10 years ago. That doesn't really matter. So don't develop company loyalty and stick to it and say, I will never sell the share. There's no such share, right? Another mistake I see is delaying investments. Getting confused between trading and investing. So I bought this, I sold this, I bought this, I sold this. That you are not investing, you're trading. For investing, you have to have a long-term view in mind. You should know why you are investing. Have the goal plan. Fourth time perhaps I'm saying this. If you are going to be a trader, be a trader. If you're going to be an investor, be an investor. Another mistake which I notice is delaying investments. I don't know why, but people keep delaying. The money is lying in the savings bank account. It is not as though they have spent it. It is not as though they need it, but it is just lying there and not getting invested. So that is another. And the flip side to this is because they have started late, they are impatient, they want it to happen very quickly. Both of these are terrible, and especially as a combination can be very hurtful. So don't delay investments, don't be impatient. The market gives you money, but gives money only to the very patient investor who's been willing to learn, have a plan, do some research, and know why he or she is buying, and have a very clear 20-year, 30-year, 40-year view, saying I will create wealth. I do not know for what, I do not know how much I need for requirement, but I know it's a big round sum. I'm just 22 years of age, so I will create some wealth for my retirement, and I will keep slogging at it. I will keep earning money, I will keep investing, and I'll create wealth. How I will use it is a completely different thing, and that keeps changing. As a 5-year-old, you want a new shiny red bike, and as a 45-year-old you want a new shiny Ferrari, the same red color, but other than that there is nothing in common. So don't get too much into, oh my god, am I doing goal based investing? Yes, that's important, but very important first to create wealth. How to use the wealth is the goal. And so if you can have the discipline of saying I just need to create wealth, you don't need too many goals. But for people who do not have that ability to create wealth, then they need goals. So goals are again for the person who is less disciplined than the guy who knows that he has got to create wealth for various goals of his life, climbing the Himalayas, or getting married, or any such stuff. Everything which costs money, wealth has to be created. So my goal is very simple. I will help you create wealth, whether you want to use it for doing your own business, or retirement, or funding your children's education or their marriage. That's your call. I'm a financial advisor, not a life advisor. That's the kind of attitude you want your advisor to take for you. Thank you.